Hello, this is Lymphoma vlog number 6 of 2023. So I'm taking you through some various bits and pieces to do with lymphoma generally and in terms of what's going on with me at the moment. Um, uh, One of the things to mention maybe is that nobody's ever really discovered a causal effect for lymphoma. In the sense of when they talk about lung cancer, they can look at outside factors that might cause lung cancer, smoking and other bits and pieces. With lymphoma, I was told very much at the beginning that there was nothing I'd done to cause this. I have to say, within that, none of us knows how our body responds to our lives as we go through it, or indeed the abuses we put it through, depending on our lifestyles. And, for me, being a musician and being on the road and having a disrupted life, I'm not blaming myself. I'm just saying that, everybody's kind of map is different, and we will all face different things at different times in our life. And this just happens to be what I've been dealt with as of 10 years ago. A big wake up call then. And 10 years ago, when I was first diagnosed, before they knew, as I mentioned, in fact, they thought I had secondary bone cancer. So I had 6 weeks, pretty much thinking I was dying because they were looking for a primary, but they didn't know which the primary was. And of course, when you start mentioning secondaries, everybody panics, including myself. I was no different. That was a difficult time to go through, but it was, again, that wake up call, in that I think we all very sensibly and healthily relate to life as if these things happen to other people. And rightly so, in the sense that how on earth could you get on with life if you spent most of it fearing what might be? But when you get that wake up call, it's not always the horrible thing that you think it might be. So I wasn't given a terminal diagnosis then, and some of that stuff around, the grass being greener and the sky being bluer and appreciating the people you love and the life that you have, they're all true. I always felt blessed, but you start to look at your blessings in a very different way. So I just wanted to mention that. And also within that, you can't look at diseases like this without mentioning death and dying. We often avoid these things, and I can't avoid it. My little monitor is kind of ticking away with something that is trying to curtail what might have been a longer life. And we don't know how long that'll going to be. With this treatment now, they're hoping for 100% remission. If you didn't know that, I'm telling you. And at least 10 years, I would hope. But it could be less, it could be more, especially if it is 100% remission. But we simply don't know. But within that, you have to face the fact, A, your days are numbered, and B, as a human being, it is not necessarily a bad thing to look death in the face and to actually talk about it to yourself, to your loved ones, etc., etc. So where am I? I have done chemo number 3, and this is where we go into an interesting phase. The main difference in my treatment this time, which will make the difference in terms of this remission I'm talking about, is stem cell transplant. In my case, it will be my own stem cells. So Monday, if my bloods are fine, they will harvest my own stem cells from my body via my Hickman line. And it kind of goes in a circular motion. The bloods will come out, they'll go through a machine which harvests them, and the blood goes back in. And this will carry on for a period of time, fast or slow, depending on how good my bloods are. Those then get put in storage, and effectively then they will be reintroduced to me when I go into hospital for a not necessarily fixed period of time, again, depends how well you are, but for several weeks in December, and then I come out and begin to recover. The one thing I learned about stem cell transplant, which had never occurred to me, is that when you take everything out and then reintroduce it, it actually wipes your complete vaccination history, almost like your health history, if you like. So you have to start everything again. And I mean everything. Tetanus, COVID, you can't have a boost. You have to start as if you've never had a COVID jab before. You have to be checked for antibodies. You have to check that your immune system is building up, and it takes time to recover. So last time my recovery was all about, you've had the chemo, has the chemo worked, how are you feeling? And COVID wasn't around, so it was more about, yes, you can do as much as you can. This time it's very much not like that. It's right, you are going to need this amount of recovery time. It could be longer because your immunity could be severely compromised. And I've also will have to build up my physical strength and mental strength. So that's what I'm facing in the near distant future. And I'll tell you a few more things tomorrow, but thanks for listening. Bye.